Hello, beautiful people. My name is Charisse, and welcome to my channel. Life is good, guys. Life is good. So today has actually felt very intense. Um, I woke up and just immediately was in like a state of panic. My thoughts were very scattered, just all over the place. Basically, just woke up with so much anxiety, and I ended up taking my gabapentin and it helped a little bit, and I ended up taking it again and it ended up helping a lot, but I'm still finding that my thoughts are just like all over the place. It has felt very hard to focus today, and I got home from work a little bit ago and I was just so fucking hungry, so I made some leftovers and added some canned noodles and canned beans to it. And it is so delicious. And as I'm eating it and just like enjoying the fuck out of it, every fucking bite, just like slowly eating it, all of that chaoticness in my thoughts and in my energetic space, all of it just started calming down. And I realized that, like, okay, you know what? I think this is something that I want to like share about on my channel, because I think that a lot of us can get really caught up in everything that's going on in your life or wherever your thoughts are going, thinking about that thing that happened, whatever, years ago, even. Like today, I've just been like all over the place with my mind, like the things that I've got to do, the things that I've done, the people that have hurt me, the people that I've hurt, like, oh, the people that I love, and like all over the place. And it's been just like intensely chaotic to the point, obviously, that I was having like panic attacks and issues with my anxiety, and just like realizing that sometimes the best way to deal with that is by literally slowing down. When your mind is just going a million miles an hour, and I understand that this might be more difficult for certain people. I tend to be somebody who thrives in like meditation, like stillness meditation, and this is kind of vibes with that a little bit, but it's also an active. I think that it's kind of encouraging active meditation in everything that you're doing. I watched this video and she mentioned romanticizing your life, and I think that that kind of flows with it as well, where when you have all this chaos and all this stuff running around in your mind and it is just stressing you out, slow down. Sometimes it's almost impossible to just stop those thoughts, like thinking to yourself, okay, I'm not going to overthink, I'm not going to think about everything. That doesn't always work, but sometimes giving yourself a task and focusing your energy completely into that, like focusing very, very strictly with yourself. So for me, it was literally just making my food, and I was a little all over the place with making it, but as I sat down, I was just so grateful. And I think that's also an aspect of what I'm encouraging in this video is, I guess it's mindfulness as well, all these terms for this type of behavior, and meditative living, by just looking at my bowl of soup. This is it, I've eaten most of it, and just, wow, it's so beautiful. Like, I'm so grateful for this meal. And I was dipping this bread into it and it tasted so flippin' good. And I just took every bite slowly, enjoying it to the fullest. And I think that a lot of people have lost that. It's like all of the small repetitive things that we do throughout the day just become like muscle memory and robotic movements. I personally do think that if we took that time that we're already taking to take care of ourselves, doing those daily types of tasks such as feeding ourselves, if we slow down a little bit to enjoy that to the fullest, just what a beautiful element of peace that would bring to each of our lives. So I find that doing that, just eating that meal more slowly and enjoying it to the fullest and being completely so fucking grateful for the fact that I have food and that I'm enjoying this meal and I have this juice, and oh my goodness, like I'm so grateful for all the things in my life. Just taking this little bit of time that I do every single day to be fully grateful and immersed in the experience has completely slowed down my thoughts, and I feel so much more peace. That's crazy, right? I think that a lot of people are on a path where they're looking for peace, or you just crave peace in your life because the chaos, the overworking, the just everything going on, the emotional turmoil. And what if we just all just slow down a little bit in those repetitive and seemingly monotonous, perhaps it is monotonous to you, perhaps it's more creative for you, like I find cooking to be very creative for myself. Just slowing down and enjoying that to the fullest and being grateful for it to the fullest. Even at my job, which I really don't like at all, I push carts in a parking lot and help people load cars. It's literally my least favorite job I've ever had in my life. But I will find things to focus on during my day to kind of shift my perspective away from just how much I hate this job, and like it's so monotonous that like it can be easier to kind of get lost in my thoughts, or I could use that time to meditate more or focus my energy towards dreaming and thinking about my goals and how I'm going to achieve them. And I'll just look at the trees and the plants, and I'll even like look at the carts and like study their color and imagine that I'm just soaking in the color of the carts or the things around me and healing my energy bodies, which is totally some woo-woo hippie shit, but you know what, I believe in that, and maybe you vibe with that, maybe you don't. But little things like that, where if you bring your focus to the tasks that you're doing, rather than allowing your mind to be wrapped in everything that you're not, imagine how much peace that would bring to your life, even if it's just for that moment. That is beautiful, and I think that that is something that I feel like I need to practice more in my daily life. I'll just find myself all of a sudden in this state of where I'm just fully immersed in a task. I'm like, why don't I do this all the time? Like, I feel so peaceful. My thoughts are silenced. Like, I'm just in this wonderful state of bliss, basically, like a weird kind of bliss doing these normal little tasks. It's like, why don't I do that all the time? And I think it can be easy, though, to get wrapped up in the chaos. And I feel like a lot of us, and I'll include myself in this to a certain degree because I've worked a lot on overcoming this, but I think a lot of people are actually addicted to anxiety, and I think the chemical is cortisol that is released. Like, I think a lot of people kind of are like living in the state of chaos and allowing it and not doing things to create change towards a more peaceful life because they are addicted to that. And maybe you're somebody who relates to that, maybe that triggers you, I don't know, but that's just putting that out there, guys. I definitely feel like I have been an addict of anxiety for sure. I think that a lot of people don't really consider it an addiction because it seems like it's something that's unwelcome. But if anxiety is so unwelcome in your life, why wouldn't you be doing things that would encourage a state of peace in your life? And that's one thing that I notice with a lot of people who deal with high anxiety is that they often do not incorporate healthy habits or healthy practices into their life that are going to encourage them into deeper states of peace. And I am not judging whatsoever, guys. I just want you to know this. Like, I can totally fucking slack on my self-care habits all the fucking time. For a little while there, I like really fell off and was eating like a shit ton of junk food, and it really negatively affected my body, my mind, and my emotions. Like, I am so sensitive to not taking care of myself. It affects me massively. So I'm not just calling out anybody else, everybody else who does that. I'm also calling out myself, because this is something that I also have struggled with. I struggle with extremely severe anxiety that I recently just got medication for that works. It's called gabapentin, and it has been life-changing in helping to calm my nervous system. But I also have learned a lot of tools over the years to also work with that and getting to know myself better. I'm in therapy right now. So there's so many other things that I've also incorporated, and I'm not saying that that always works, because sometimes I will admit that I am in such an insane state of anxiety that every fucking like healthy habit I got under my belt like does not seem to work or help me whatsoever. So if that's the case that you're into, where you're just like, I'm trying and it's just not working, like, I totally understand and relate to that. I personally have found that with my struggle with anxiety, I am so grateful to have medication right now to help guide me and stabilize my severe mood swings that I've dealt with for years. So this being medicated, honestly, it has become a very life-changing point in my life, but I am not trying to become completely reliant on it. I am using it as a tool, and I do not take it every single day. But I honestly do believe that when you, like, your body remembers things. So kind of like how medication works, like people with different mental health issues will get on medication and someday hopefully they get off of it and it's actually caused a lot of healing. It's because basically you're training your brain to live in a different type of state. So that's what I'm doing with the gabapentin, but I am also still incorporating my other healthy habits and tools with dealing with anxiety. If anxiety is something that is like a big issue for you as well, I highly recommend you checking out um, information about the vagus nerve or vagus nerve resets. I will actually put a link below to a playlist I created that's videos that my therapist sent me. It's kind of, I believe they would kind of be considered somatic exercises, like movements that you do. Um, the awesome thing about the vagus nerve reset is that you can do it literally anywhere, and it has to do with eye movements. So it's not just like some crazy stretches you gotta do, but I will put a link to this playlist, and I hope that if you check it out and you try any of these little exercises, some of them are actually for stomach pain, but check them out and let me know if it works for you. That would be super awesome. I found that the vagus nerve reset videos that she sent me that are in this playlist honestly were kind of miraculous for me. Another little tip, random little tips in here for anybody that deals with anxiety. If you are dealing with like panic attacks or PTSD episodes, a really great thing to kind of bring you back to the present, like especially if you're disassociating, is really intense, strong smells. So I keep tea tree oil in my car for whenever I start to feel panicked. Sometimes I will literally even put it in my nose. I don't necessarily recommend that, because a lot of people have skin sensitivities, and tea tree oil is a very intense essential oil, but it really helps to draw you back into the present. Frankincense is also a great one. I just don't have any. Peppermint was also another one that could be suggested. So really intense, strong, I don't really know what the word for to describe this type of smell, but those are just some examples. So if you have those, I highly recommend that you keep it on you. Or close to where you're at for if you start to feel panic, and that might be a great tool for you. Another great one is lemon, and there's a lot of videos out there about like just biting into a lemon. I've found that even just putting lemon juice in my water, because nowadays everybody, especially those hydration girlies, And guys, I can't leave guys out. A lot of us are just always carrying around a water bottle. Put some lemon in there if you are dealing with daily anxiety. It might honestly really help. I am not saying that any of these have been like, woo, yeah, just completely snap me out of it and I feel fucking fantastic. But they have been really awesome tools to kind of help calm me down a little bit. And these are kind of also like long term things, training your mind into that state of calmness. So, just a little thing out there for anybody who deals with anxiety. If you do, I relate so strong to you, and I'm not judging you whatsoever. If you haven't necessarily tried to incorporate tools to heal and deal with your anxiety, or perhaps you've just been slacking, literally no judgment whatsoever, because I get into funks all the time, and I am beyond grateful that I have this gabapentin now. Perhaps getting some type of medication would be also helpful for you. I used to honestly be really against medication for years. It's taken me almost 10 years to be open to taking medication. And the fact that I found something that is just so healing to my anxiety, but also does not make me feel like loopy, and it still allows me to also feel like big emotions, is just so beautiful and life changing. So perhaps you want to talk to your therapist or psychiatrist about trying gabapentin. I do not guarantee. It does not work for everybody. I have multiple friends who have tried it and it has done nothing for them or just knocked them out. So just a little tidbit there. But yeah, guys, I hope that after watching this video, whatever you're doing after that, or even if you're just like doing it now, like to pause it and just like focus on the task at hand, because I think we live in a culture now where multitasking is such kind of like a habitual thing to do. People are just doing it all the time everywhere. It's just so extremely overstimulating as well, and I think that that can also be a great cause of anxiety, where it's like it's considered like a skill and a positive thing to be able to multitask, and sometimes it actually can be very increasing to the anxiety. But at the same time, there are other people who kind of thrive a bit more in doing that multitasking thing. So this video might not be for absolutely everybody. Perhaps it's going to be for people who have more of like an energetic signature as I do, and you deal with things in more of a similar way than I do. If it does not vibrate with you, that's okay. You can let it whoosh away, and maybe you'll find another video about dealing with anxiety and creating more mindfulness in your life that does vibe with you better. So, this is a big encouragement to myself, to be honest. I have actually, one of the big synchronicities in my life is the word focus. It just keeps popping up everywhere. I was even watching some of my own old videos, and like there was this one point that I was just like, focus, even putting it on the screen in big letters. I was like, okay, geez, this is just telling me to focus. I think it's like kind of like focusing grounds you more. When you're focusing on what's happening in that moment and being more mindful to that experience to the fullest, and also giving gratefulness to that moment, recognizing the beauty in whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're gardening or eating or doing some type of work or driving, just being focused on that particular experience that you're taking part in, rather than letting your thoughts wander to everything else that you're not taking part in at that moment. So this is encouragement for me to focus. Be more mindful and grateful of all those little tasks that I'm taking part in, and also encouragement for you to do the same if this video did vibe with you. But that's gonna be it for today, guys. I love you, and I believe in you, and I hope that you have an absolutely amazing and beautiful day. Okay, bye.